Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this Madden NFL 23 video breakdown, I want to take a look at an X Factor superstar, and his name is Minnesota Vikings Justin Jefferson, and he's one of the better receivers in the game, as you know. And I want to go ahead and show one of his superstar abilities and use a particular play from the Vikings playbook that I feel like does a pretty good job. And the X Factor superstar rating that I want to show here is going to be this one we're going to showcase in the video breakdown. It's this deep out elite. This improves catching on a deep passes outside the numbers. And so I'm going to show you a play that you can use that ability that's going to help him come down with the ball, especially when he's matched up in one-on-one coverage. So we're going to do that in the video breakdown. Before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the play that we're going to use for the video breakdown. Here's the play diagram. It's going to be the gun empty Y off double slot cross, and you're going to find it out of these three playbooks, which is the Rams, the Seahawks, and obviously the Vikings playbook. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. Here's what the gun empty Y off double slot cross looks like with the default pass routes. And the cool thing about this particular formation, even though it's in an empty formation, it's 11 personnel. So one of the cool things you can do with this particular formation, if you just look at the screen right there, you can audible into all these other formations that have 11 personnel, which is nice. So you're not stuck with this formation if you want to audible into something else. So I just wanted to point that out to you, which makes this formation pretty nice in my opinion, because you do have the 11 personnel, which is really nice. But with that said, what I really want to focus in on is going to be this receiver here, which is Jefferson, who's lined up on the outside on the left, who runs the basically the up and out and up route. So what he does here is he goes up the field, then he breaks towards the outside, and then he heads up the field. Now, a lot of times as he's going up the field here and breaks towards the sideline, and then he goes up this way, he will end up losing the defender that's covering. So that defender will trail behind him a lot of times, where you're dropping a quarterback back, and you see that a lot of times you can just make the throw into this area here, where he'll have a couple steps on that receiver and complete it for a big play. Now, on occasion, that defender may stick with him, and you're not going to be able to make that type of throw, and you're going to have to manually make the pass catch. And the cool thing about that is, because of that superstar rating that he has, where you can throw the ball outside the numbers, he gets an extra boost at catching the ball. That's what I want to go ahead and focus in on with this video breakdown. The only other thing I want to point out before I actually snap it here is the tight end. A lot of times with this particular play, I don't like to have him go out, because this is being an empty set. I'd rather have him stay in the pass block. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to show you one other hot route that I like to make here, and I'll kind of explain it to you. Is this guy right here, which is the slot receiver who's lined up right here. I like to go ahead and hot route him on a streak. Let's go ahead and hot route him on a streak there. And the reason for that is the safety who's playing a deep middle against cover one, I want him to go ahead and cheat towards this direction. I want him to have to cover this. I don't want him to really cheat over this direction and help out with that corner. I prefer him to be over here, because if that safety comes over there, a lot of times he may be in position where he can smack the ball right out of the receiver's hand. So if you can do this, where you get this receiver running that route there, that streak or that seam route, then that's going to clear the safety out against cover one coverage. And you still have coming underneath this guy right here, which is the running back. You still have him coming underneath where he can be your check down receiver if you need him, just in case that you don't feel like making that deep throw to Jefferson. That's the nice thing about this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and snap the ball here in just a sec, and then we'll take a look at it, and I'll show you how this play works. Before I snap the ball, I'm going to go ahead and put the tight end in motion here and snap it where he gets somewhere in between, so I get an extra pass blocker there. And then I'm just going to throw it high up in the air, and a lot of times you can come down with it. Now, I can't promise that's always going to happen. Sometimes the corner may go ahead and knock it out, but a lot of times Jefferson, with his abilities, he should come down with it, such as what you just saw on your screen. Let's go ahead and just take a look at that in instant replay here. And you can see what my idea of this is with this is that if we go ahead and zoom in, remember we talked about this receiver here. Let's go ahead and zoom in so I can show this to you guys a little bit better. Remember I talked about this receiver being hot route on a streak. if you look at it, you're going to notice that that safety who's playing that deep middle, he's actually cheating over here towards the right, and that's the idea of that. So you're trying to get him out of the play so he can't be over in that area there. Now, if we go back over in this direction here, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in again. You're going to notice that Jefferson really didn't shake the defender loose, but he does have the inside position where I can make this throw. So a lot of times when I'm making this throw here, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it high. So I'm just going to go ahead and press up on the left stick here. I'm not actually holding down the the LB button right here. I'm not touching that. I'm just pressing up on this left stick to make this throw. And that way, sorry about that, making sure that he gets an opportunity to make that throw deep down the field and go up and grab it, such as what you see on your screen right there. And you can see that once I make this throw, then I'm going to take control of him, and then I'm just hitting down on that Y button to go ahead and grab that. I'm not really doing anything real fancy there, but that's really it in a nutshell. And you can see that that safety there can't get over to help out. So as long as he can make that grab, I should pick up a nice pickup such as you see on your screen there. So that's really it as far as with this particular play. The way I like to run it is just basically just trying to take a deep shot down the field with that double move route with Jefferson. Now I'm going to show you one other thing with this particular route that I like. A lot of times I like to go ahead and smart route Jefferson's pass route there. So I'll show you why here in a second as I do it. So let's go ahead and smart route him. Now, what I like to do when I smart route him, now his out and up route's a lot shorter. So he's going to go up the field, and then he's going to break towards the sideline quicker before he breaks up here. The reason I like the forward to do this is because I feel like by him getting in and out of that route quicker, it'll shorten up the time that it takes for him to get going. And in that way, if they are blitzing me, he's already heading up the field on that double move route. And a lot of times, if he gets open, I can make that throw. So that's the reason I like to go ahead and smart route him. Let's go ahead and run this one more time here. As far as with this against this particular coverage, this man coverage, let's go ahead and max protect with the tight end. He's staying in the pass block. And then I'll go ahead and hot route the slot receiver on that streak. So let's go ahead and run this. And then I'll just show you real quick here why I like this. And a lot of times right there, I'm just going ahead and receive a catch. I didn't go up forward as far as with the aggressive. I just did the receiver aggressive, started after the catch as far as hitting the X button or the square button on the PlayStation. But that's another option there as well. So at any rate, that's what you guys can do there to give Jefferson an opportunity for a big play deep down the field from this particular play against man coverage. Now I want to show it how it works against zone coverage, in particular cover 3. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, this time I want to show you how this play and how we can use Jefferson running that out and up route against cover 3 coverage. So let's go ahead and take a look at the coverage just real quick. You can see it's cover 3 as you look at it. Now I'm going to do the same thing as far as the setup goes. I'm going to go ahead and max protect the tight end so he stays in the pass block, send the slot receiver on a streak, and I'll go ahead and smart route Jefferson so his route's a little bit shorter there. So there it is. I'm going to go ahead and show you. It's basically the same thing. Now, one thing I realized here is as you look at the coverages here, it's a little bit different. You look at this guy right here. So you got these 2 deep safeties. So it almost looks like this could be a 2 deep or even a 4 deep coverage. So what you still have to do is you're still going to have to look at the coverage once the ball snaps and see if you get the rotation or not. And then that'll determine if you want to take a shot deep down the field. So let's go ahead and run this. I wouldn't, if these safeties were to go ahead and go and split out wide like this, I probably won't make that throw to him because you're going to have that extra safety in position. Or the same thing if they just drop straight back and it looks like a cover 4, so you get like a cover 4 look, I would not make that throw. Now, if you see a rotation, maybe you see something like this, or you see this guy rotating over this way, then you know it's cover 3. So just keep that in mind as you watch this. That's what you're really looking for after the snap. So let's go ahead and do it. Same thing. And you're just trying to get up in the air and make that grab if you can and make a big play for it. So this works against cover 1 and cover 3 particularly. That's mainly what I wanted to show here. You can probably get it to work against cover 2 zone as well. Because again, even though you're not going to have, the cool thing about cover 2 zone is you would have this defender playing in his area here. He'd be playing kind of like the flat and then you'd have this safety right here dropping back. So you'd still have the one-on-one coverage, but rather than be against a corner, you would have it against a safety, or excuse me, you have it against a safety. So that would be the difference. So you could still run it. Now, just keep in mind as I wrap things up here, you know, as far as this play, and we go ahead and do this, let's go ahead and run it the rest of the way through here. I'm going to go ahead and put him back on the streak there, whatever. But the other receiver you could look to throw to is you don't have anything over the top. Just look to down, throw it down underneath to the running back coming across on that crossing route. So, guys, I hope this play helps you guys out as far as using Justin Jefferson from the Vikings, one of the better players in the game.